What's up, my oodles? Today, as you can see, we are interviewing one of my partners to kind of let you get to know them a little bit because I want to include them on the channels, and in order to do that, I kind of need to introduce them. So this is introducing Kaos Penne. And I wrote up a bunch of questions that I'm going to ask him so that we kind of have some talking points so that he's not like fishing around for things to talk about, because I know how awkward that can be, as I stated in my last video. But I'm going to pause this for 1 second because I forgot lighting, so hold up. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. Now that there's some actual flippin' light, God said, let there be light. And there was. And it was good. Alright, first question. How old are you?
26, because I have to be.
And what does that mean?
I mean, I can't really change my age on a slider. I would if I could. I'd stay 13 for, like, ever. But, like, that also would mean that I can't adult, and that would suck and not suck, because adulting can suck and not suck. It depends. If you know, you know.
I love you.
I love you, too.
Alright. Where do you live, and how long have you lived there?
I live in Indiana. I don't know if we're doing addresses, but South
No,
Bend.
we're definitely not.
Okay, then yes, South Bend, Indiana. I've been here 3 years, going on 4. Yeah.
Do you like it here?
Yeah, it's been a lot better than where I used to live. Colorado, you know, I spent time with a difficult situation. There's been struggles between me and my family that have since at least somewhat mended, so I'm not trying to, like, speak bad on anybody.
Right, I get that.
But
You're fine. I'm sure that it was complicated, and it is complicated.
it can be, but I mean,
Less complicated now, I suppose.
yeah.
Now that you don't live there.
Yeah.
What are your hobbies?
All big ones are video games. I don't know that I have many other hobbies. I like music, but I don't know that that's a hobby, because everybody listens to music.
I mean, it would be a hobby if you did something with it like you want to, though. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, that's true. I really want to be a DJ, but I don't have the money to get the software I need to do it. But once I do, I'm in like sin. Like, I have wanted to be a DJ since I was in high school, which has been a long time coming since then. And yeah, it's...
One of these days, I promise.
Yeah.
I know how much you want it, and I'm desperate to give it to you.
I know that, but...
I feel so bad that we haven't been able to do anything for you about it yet. But hopefully soon. Hopefully,
Yeah.
especially if this channel takes off.
Yeah, I mean, it's not your fault, though, like...
Yeah, it's just being low income sucks.
Yeah, but I mean, that's okay, you know. It's...
Right. If you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be? You're like, I hate these questions.
Well, because it's hard to boil a person down to, like, a certain number, you know, like, it's like you're making the box that you want to stay in, but, like, fuck boxes.
I get that.
But I guess if I had to, I would say, funny, or at least I try. Resilient, or again, at least I try, but that's kind of the point. And I think, yeah, I'd say I'm pretty chaotic, but it depends on how you define that, because, like, I'm not causing riots in the streets, although, what if I could? But
Yeah.
if you know me, like most people that I know me, then you know how I mean that. But let's just say
Yeah.
ADHD is one hell of a drug.
I don't know about drug per se.
Yeah, well, I meant it as a saying, but you
I
know.
know, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
saying.
Exactly. Get it, Vegeta. Just saying.
Oh my god, I knew you were gonna go there. I knew it.
Go where?
Just saying.
Just saying.
I knew it. I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
What are your views on religion?
Our views on religion, I think, well, overall, I think to each their own, but I think religion can be a means to an end, can help people, like, cope with death and understand how to handle it, and, like, it really prevents a lot of people from freaking out about, what comes next, because it's so different than the day to day, it's final, it's the end, and a lot of people have trouble, being okay with that, and um, if it's anything like sleep, then I want to live forever. Like that's not something I want to spend eternity, just nothing. But then again, if we move past that and try to delude ourselves into believing something that may or may not be true, because I mean, let's be honest, there's no absolute proof of one thing or the other being right. So I mean, to each their own, whatever helps you get by. And I mean, what's helped me get by is just find religions and ideologies that kind of, I don't know, I guess like smooth things over for me mentally, as far as like I said, dealing with the concept of death and like understanding like what happens next. And
I'm gonna have to pause this for a moment because the battery is really low and I don't want it to cut you off.
yeah, you're good.
But our next question will be, what are your personal religious beliefs? But I'm gonna pause this real quick.
Okay.
All right, here we go. And the question was, what are your personal religious beliefs?
Um, Personally, I believe that, um, well, okay. The better start to that sentence, I think, would be I follow the Norse pagan uh, belief system, that I don't remember it verbatim, but essentially it's, I think, the most metal religion because they believe that the entire everything was built because somebody killed somebody else and used their body entirely to make the world. And I highly suggest anybody watching this to look it up and like learn more about it, because I'm not the resource to look for, because I'm learning too. But yeah, there's I guess a lot similar with Christianity, but also a lot different. Um, and there's definitely also a lot of practices that I have yet to learn, but I think are worthwhile in accordance with, if you're part of the faith, you might as well learn about it.
Yeah, makes sense. So, how long have we been together?
I would say 3 years, yeah. Three,
About, yeah.
almost four, about the time I've been here, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you been poly?
About 3 years.
Yeah, pretty
Almost
much.
four. It's new, but like it's not new anymore. It's just the first time I've ever done it, and I looked out. Can't say that happens for everybody, for sure, but like I know I definitely lucked out,
Yeah.
and I'll always be appreciative for that.
Yeah. I'm really happy that you consider yourself to have lucked out.
Me too.
What is one thing you struggle with being poly?
um, I definitely think one thing I struggle with being poly is understanding how to approach potential new members to the group. Like, if somebody likes me, do I say like, hey, right away, or do I get to know them first, or like how does that that's something I
It's
don't.
generally considered appropriate to like speak up sooner rather than later so people don't get too invested if that's not something they're interested in.
That's true.
That's just my policy anyway. I don't know about other people, but that's
Yeah.
just how I feel about it.
But yeah, I mean, that I think is the only thing, because, like, usually try to get to know, most people that I know of try to get to know a person first before they decide if they want to be with them.
Yeah.
And I've never, like, it's still, like, semi-new to me, like, sharing that process with others before going into that process, but it's definitely a work in progress and
Yeah.
worthwhile to do.
That's fair. What's one thing you enjoy about it?
One thing I enjoy about being poly, I think, is the sense of community. The sense of, like, if there's any kind of, like, some sort of, like, a need, like, if I need help in one way or another, it's not just me and the other person and we're stuck or we're not. It's, I can go, like, hey, I need help with this thing. They can't help. Can you help? It's, it's really, I guess, it feels really inclusive in a way that makes it so that, I don't really feel alone in really any capacity, which I know isn't for everybody, but I enjoy it. And I think that those that do enjoy it that aren't me will definitely appreciate that as well if they do give it a try.
Hey, I like your answer. It's a good one.
Yeah.
What are some of your health struggles?
Physical or otherwise?
Oh.
All. Let's see, because they're mainly mental, but like schizophrenia, depression, ADHD. Um, those are the three diagnosed. I guess potential ASPD, antisocial personality disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Still getting that looked at, trying to see if that's the case. But like physical, very likely arthritis. I think it's inherited. My grandma has it, so like I may likely have it. But yeah, I think that's it.
That's fair. I would like to note that with the antisocial personality disorder, like that's not actually diagnosed at this point,
Right.
and there's a possibility that you don't have it.
Yeah, and I mean I'm not trying to self-diagnose.
And like you're not like super like to me you're social, but like with the certain other people you're not. Like it's
like if I don't know, it's weird because if I don't know you, it's different than if I know you, but the catch-22 is getting to know you. Like
right. I get it. I just wanted to put that out there.
yeah, and no, like I'm not trying to self-diagnose. It's just from what I've heard from you and Ray that
Yeah.
it's suspected.
Okay, so like what's it like dealing with schizophrenia?
Um, it's definitely interesting. I think it's going to be a bit different for everybody. It's not usually a uniform experience.
For you.
Yeah, but for me, it's definitely a trip. It because I usually get hallucinations pretty regularly, which is normal for it. Um, I don't know. There's certain ways I have to go about things. Like if I'm outside, I'm more likely to hallucinate things like shadow people. No, I know the internet is really talking about like shadow people for other stuff too, but it's a thing. There's also the stigma. People like in movies can mix it up with like multiple personality disorder, and like they make people like me out to be like, crazy murderers and shit like that. Like it's not exactly fair in that regard, but that's not to say that people haven't done things like that have schizophrenia. It's just not a prerequisite to do things like that,
Yeah.
to be a killer like that. Like,
Right.
But it's definitely, I think, as far as the main experience for me, it's always been very, I guess, off-putting in a way that is not, like, it's hard to get used to. It's not really something that you can just go like, oh, that happens now. It's
Right.
usually like new, like, say I watch a horror movie and then all I'm seeing everywhere is the killer of the horror movie when they're not really there.
That's gotta suck.
Yeah, it does. I like Michael Myers, but I don't like Michael Myers. He's great.
You don't like Michael Myers in your house at 3 a.m.
No. No, I do not. Great actor, great guy, I'm sure, but I like to live.
Yeah, I can't blame you. I think most people do.
Yeah, and I mean, part of that is, going back to the religion discussion, a lot of people don't know what happens after death, so they try to make sure they, like, either don't think about it or think about it in a way that doesn't scare them.
Right.
Which, I get, and, a lot of other things tied to schizophrenia, I think, would be, like, I rarely get delusions, but they do happen occasionally, but I've been pretty good actually about them. They haven't really cropped up.
Yeah, you haven't really had a problem in a while with that I've noticed anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, I would have said something if I did, but
right.
They haven't been around really. And I mean,
well, I'm grateful for that because those are the harder ones to break.
Yeah, they are, especially because it takes time to really like get through it, and whatever happens between the start and the end is, I would blame it on the delusion, honestly.
Right.
Like, it's nobody's fault, but
whoops,
that doesn't mean it's not unfortunate.
Right. It hella is, and I imagine it would be a pain in the butt to deal with.
Because like there's people that like have it way worse than me with it, and like
I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a trip.
A lot of homeless people have it, as far as I've seen. Like, I mean, not everybody, but like, it's common enough that.
Well, I think a lot of people who are homeless who have it are homeless because of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of like what I'm getting at too. Is like, they. Yeah, it's hard. It's a struggle to be able to be a functioning member of society, and also have this illness that, like, can impair your beliefs, your trust, your
just everything,
ability to be like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but it's not the end of the world. Those of you that have it, those of you that know someone who has it, like, get help. Get somebody to help and get the right plan on track, or you could be risking a lot. And I'm not, like, trying to, like, threaten anybody, but, like, also, it's serious. Like, it's scary. It can be scary, and a lot of people think of it as that, and it doesn't have to be that if you're smart about it.
Right. I agree. What about ADHD? What's that like for you?
ADHD is admittedly a bit more fun. I really don't enjoy the stigma online, the manic pixie dream girl trope, or, they even have the same trope for boys, if you can believe it. And
really?
Yeah, they they look a bit different, don't get me wrong, but like definitely still like, oh my god, so random. Like, it's not like that.
It's not fun or funny like that either.
I mean,
it can be, but like
it can be.
There's a lot of times where it's not.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that I see talk about it don't talk about rejection sensitive dysphoria either. Like, Like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the main thing, but
it's part of it.
it is a part of it, and it definitely affects a lot of things. Like if um, if the person even like thinks that they might get rejected in some way, and they might not even be like, no, I don't want to date you. It could even be like
Even just a small rejection, like me cuddling with him and then saying, no, I don't want to cuddle with you right now.
right. Even if like I know in my head that that's not like that, it can twist it and be like, oh, okay, well, why? Why is it like this? And it can actually, like, in my experience personally, it can pair up with my schizophrenia and potentially cause a delusion, which is the issue with comorbidities, is because they can play off of each other. And that's the other added thing about things like that.
I love how smart you are sometimes. Sorry, don't mind me. I'm just simping over here.
No, it's okay. But the thing though that like most people gotta remember is like just you gotta just take time to convene with yourself and really do a reality check, because even though ADHD doesn't mess with your reality, it can change some ways that you think and that you behave in ways that make it so that you think things that aren't true, even if they're not delusions. Because somebody could say, hey, no, it's not like that. It's okay. Come on. And you're fine. It's okay. Until that happens again. Until you feel slighted or until you feel rejected in some way. And it really is just something that you have to keep your mind on. Not all the time, but definitely like in the back of your head. And then to add to that, sleep, definitely. I've never had an easy time getting to sleep. The sensation of tiredness in general is just not, it doesn't occur to me that often. And when it does, I crash. Like if anyone's ever like stayed up for like an all-nighter, or like you stay up all night studying, or you stay up like all night and the next day
I can attest to this. He does this all the time.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating sometimes because we have things to do and he's like up all night and then asleep all day, and it's like,
yeah. But there's ways to there's ways to manage that. I've seen in one video, I guess, people with ADHD have been known to, especially in schools, they'll make themselves tired to slow down their brain, because that's a lot of the issue is like ADHD. It's like ramps up your brain, like putting jet fuel in a car. Like you have too much to be able to go, and it's just like trying to fit a crowd of fat people into one little doorway.
Your analogies, oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah, but like it's if once you learn how to deliberate and slow down at least a bit, like you don't have to be a sloth, but it definitely helps to focus on being deliberate with everything you do, think, and say, which I know is hard, but coffee and sleep deprivation, definitely not the best for you, but they can help.
My advice, take time to process.
Yeah, definitely.
Make time to process.
Yeah.
I don't care what you have to do. If you have to ask for an extra 5 minutes to kind of get through the process of processing in your brain, like, take that time. Ask for that time, because the more you do that, the easier it will be on you.
Well, and then that's the other thing, too, is, like, ADHD is so socially accepted as opposed to schizophrenia, like we touched on before this. It's more, I guess, socially acceptable to ask for help with it and to come out and say, hey, I have this. I need these things. I need help with these things.
Yeah.
And it really speaks volumes about where we are as a society and where we are as people in our internal growth and in our in our friendships, in our love lives, whatever you're into, if you can say to somebody else, doesn't matter who, hey, I'm struggling with this, can you help me out in these ways, or,
Right.
then that can make all the difference as opposed to just struggling through it by yourself. And I know a lot of guys mainly, because guys I know for eons have always been just, I'll just deal with it. This is life now. And that's not healthy for anybody, guy, girl, or whatever else. Like,
I agree. Alright, moving on. Sorry not to cut that topic short, but
oh, you're okay.
let's see. What's it like being with someone who has DID?
Um, I love you.
I had to throw it in there. You knew I was gonna throw it in there.
Yeah. So if anyone's ever heard of I don't remember where I found this meme. I think it was on iFunny, but this girl asks this guy, she suspects him of cheating, and he's like, I don't have to cheat. I see another different girl every night, and it's just you the whole time. Like, you get a whole group in one package. Big things come in small packages, and I mean that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely at least I can't speak for anybody that doesn't have my experience, but like it's definitely something that, like with any mental illness, you got to work with the person, and you got to make sure that you're doing what you can to not make things harder for them as well as they do for you, and you each do for yourselves. It's just it's a little, I guess, different in the way that, like, most mental illnesses, you have, like, a plan. You can do, like, okay, if this happens, then this is what you do, and this, da-da-da-da. But with DID, I notice it's a lot of, it's a different person. Like, I don't know enough science to explain that, really, but with DID, if somebody's say like person A, right, and they switch to being person B, they're still physically person A, but it's a different person. And what do you do when you meet new people? You usually, I hope, I really hope, treat them with respect, talk to them like a normal person, and don't act like they're gonna kill you. It's
But the
not.
plan that you made with person A then suddenly disappears because it's now person B.
Yeah, it's.
So that's also a pain.
You really gotta be able to think dynamically about social. What do you call that? Being social with people, like,
Yeah.
if you've ever been in a crowd of people, like at a party, right, and you're talking to your friends, and you have like your group or whatever. It's like that, but one person.
Oh my gosh. I can't imagine. I can't imagine how hard that is sometimes for you.
ADHD makes it easier, but
That's fair. That's
that's
fair.
the plus, though. That's the plus about it. It's like some mental illnesses go better with others. Like,
Yeah, that's true. What's it like being with someone who has autism?
um, it's definitely interesting seeing the other side of the spectrum. No pun intended. Well, maybe pun intended. Yes, pun intended. Pun very intended. But yeah, it's growing up, I've never really known anybody with autism before, so it's new to me ish. I mean, not so much now. I've been here 3 years ish, but like,
Right.
it's definitely not ADHD, if that makes sense. Like, it's definitely something that any good person will take time to account for themselves, the person with autism, and adjust accordingly. Make sure that they can do things that can help them but not hurt the person that's, you know, is the loved one that doesn't have ADHD or autism.
Yeah.
English is difficult.
Yeah, it's okay. It
um,
happens.
but yeah, it's like ADHD, autism is really
I think you're referring to fact that sometimes I need you to help me get my fidgets when I'm escalated and can't do it for myself.
yeah, but it's also like noticing when you get stressed. I don't know if you've noticed this, but when you start like earlier when you were having issues with your game or your website or whatever you were doing, I turned my video down, and it's just you got to know the person to know what helps them
I
because it's
didn't even
different.
notice that you turned your video down. Oh my goodness, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, now that I know that you did that, I'm like, aww.
I'm a person enough to know like what helps them and what doesn't. And like some people like loud music and loudness, and
Loudness is okay when I'm not upset. When I get upset, it's overwhelming.
yeah. And I mean, if there's compromises needed, then talk to the
And I
person.
mean, on certain days, loudness is still too much. But, like, it depends on the day. I'll usually let you know, though, if, like, something's too loud.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to sit there and deal with it. I usually will tell the person, hey, can you turn that down a little bit?
Right. Well, and therein lies the other thing is, like I said before, guys tend to just deal with it a lot of the time unless they have learned to say something, and that's the thing is
Yeah.
everybody needs to say something if they have a problem. Like
Right,
that's
I agree. It would be better if people did. So, on the other end of the schizophrenia spectrum, what's it like to be with someone who has schizophrenia when you also have schizophrenia?
it definitely allows me a window, at least partly, into what they might be dealing with and what I might be able to do to help. But it also kind of lends itself to helping me understand, like, you know, if they're acting a certain way, then that's not really how they normally act, or this is, but not this time, and it really kind of helps things with, um, like, caring for the person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and caring for myself, like that's the other thing. You got to make sure when you care for others, you got to care for yourself too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of the time, it's a lot of patience, as with anything, really.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You gotta make sure that they're okay and you're okay, and if there's
Especially
anything.
since his schizophrenia, like, differs from yours so much.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, it's different really for everybody, but like, if you have a similar affliction, or you have a similar symptoms or the same symptoms, then it can help. Like, here's what I learned. Maybe it'll help you, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people, um, we notice our own. They like
Yeah.
if somebody with schizophrenia sees somebody else having a hard time, they can notice and say like, oh, okay, this is what that is. They need help. Even if I can't help them, I can say, hey, this, get somebody or.
Yeah. That makes sense. So, is there anything else you'd like to tell the class before we close up for the day?
uh, well, be sure to tip your waiter. And I don't know. I would say stay in school, but I don't have a lot of faith in the old school system and the way they do things because they're preparing kids for a time that doesn't exist anymore, and it's dated and it needs to change.
Agreed.
But aside from that, I definitely think that YouTube is pushing better help, like its life depends on it.
Yeah, I've
And
noticed that.
I think that a lot of people can benefit from it, but I also think a lot of people can benefit from
Not
reaching
sponsored.
Yeah, non-sponsored things, or like, you know, even if you.
No, I'm just saying we're not sponsored.
Oh no, yeah, we're not. No, BetterHelp. If you want to, please sponsor us, but we're not sponsored right now.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't sponsor us till we get more uh, subscribers.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I mean, you know, it's it's just it's really important for those of you that are watching. You know, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dogs, your cats, your wombats, whatever you want, that you know you saw us, you watched this video, and maybe like it, maybe thumbs up. The bell won't hurt you, I promise. It dings.
Ding! And leave a comment if you have something to say.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Alrighty, guys, and that was our interview with Chaos. So see you all next time.